Hello students, welcome to you all in your new session. I hope you all are well. So today we will start our first class of civics and the very first chapter is power sharing. Literally, power sharing means a policy agreed between political parties or within a coalition to share responsibility for decision making and political action. With this chapter, we resume the tour of democracy that we started last year. As you all know that in a democracy, all power doesn't rest with any one organ of the government. An intelligent sharing of power among legislature, executive and judiciary is very important to the design of a democracy. So here we will discuss about the two countries and their situation. The first one is Belgium. As you all know that Belgium is a very small country, even smaller than our Indian state Haryana by its area. And the other one is Sri Lanka, the very neighbor of our country, India. First, if we look at Belgium, then we see the ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. Here we are getting to know a new word, that is ethnic. What do you mean by ethnic? Ethnic means a social division based on shared culture. People belonging to the same ethnic group believe in their common descent because of similarities of physical type or of culture or both. They need not always have the same religion or nationality. Here in Belgium, 59% lives in the Flemish region and they speak Dutch language, and another 40% people live in Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the Belgians speak German, but the scenario has totally changed in the capital city Brussels, where 80% people speak French while 20% are Dutch speaking. But the problem is that the minority French speaking community was relatively rich and powerful. Thus, the Dutch speaking community who got the benefit of economic development and education much later. This led to tension between the Dutch speaking and French speaking communities during 1950s and 1960s. And this tension between the two communities was more acute in Brussels. The Dutch-speaking people constituted a majority in the country, but they are minor in the capital. If we start comparing the situation of Belgium with another country, that is Sri Lanka, then we will see the same situation is also in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has a very diverse population. You know that the major social groups are the Sinhala speakers, and which percentage is about 74%, and the Tamil speakers, which percentage is about 18%. Among the Tamils, there are two subgroups: the Tamil natives of the country, who are called Sri Lankan Tamils, and their percentage is around 13, and the rest is the Indian Tamils, whose forefathers came from India in the time of colonial period. But the problem is that most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims. There are about 7% Christians also, who are both Tamil and Sinhala. Just imagine what could happen in situation like this, that in Belgium, where the Dutch community could take advantage of its numeric majority and force its will on the French and German speaking population, but in Sri Lanka, the Sinhala community is also enjoyed an even bigger majority and could impose its will on the entire country. So now you see that what happened in both these countries. You will get to know by the next discussion, that is majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. So when Sri Lanka got its independence in 1948, the leaders of the Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over the government by virtue of their majority, and as a result, the democratically elected government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy, and even they passed an act to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, and thus they disregarding the Tamils, and they are giving the preferences to the Sinhalas, and even they also constituted a new constitution to stipulated that the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. So all these government measures coming one after the other gradually increased the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. They felt that none of the major political parties led by the Buddhist Sinhala leaders was sensitive to their language and culture. So they felt that the constitution and the government policies denied them equal political rights, and they are even discriminated against, okay, in many cases, in the cases of getting jobs and in other opportunities, and ignored their interest also. And as a result, the relation between the Sinhala and the Tamil communities strained over time. Okay, and the distrust between the two communities turned into widespread conflict, and it soon turned into civil war. You know that what is civil war? Civil war, a violent conflict between opposing groups within a country that becomes so intense that it appears like a war. And as a result, thousands of people of both of the communities have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as a refugee, and many more lost their livelihoods. But the civil war has caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural, and economic life of the country. Though it is ended in 2009, but the situation was very dangerous. That's all for today in this class. I hope that in the next classes we will discuss about the other parts of this chapter. Thank you very much.